All right, everybody, welcome back to the garage. So we took a week off last week, a week off of the video, but we did not take a week off of working on Bob. But first things first, let's talk about the title of the video. So no big surprise, you know, I spend quite a bit of money at Summit, you know, and I'm sure there's no less than 1,000,007 people that spend more than I do. But the fact of the matter remains is that I bought this oil pan from Summit, and you know, it sat around for a few months, and I finally got it on the car, you know, got oil in the car, got it running. This thing leaks oil like nobody's business, right? So much to the point that you know, it's a problem. I mean, leaking oil is a problem no matter what, but I'm going to show you guys just what it looks like on cardboard. That is from sitting under the car and catching the droplets of oil from the pan. Now, the pan leaked from a welded seam that was poorly done, and then it had been ground and attempted to be repaired. And this is all done before the gold iridite coating that they put on it, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I fixed the pan in the car. I'm not pulling the motor back out to weld this little 2-inch wide seam up correctly and, you know, take it off the car and weld it and clean it and put it all, you know, all that other junk. So anyways, that's not even the problem. The whole thing is that Summit contacted me and offered me a new oil pan, even though in my review I said that it's not worth the work to take the pan off. I'm just going to weld it in the car and be done with it. Not only that, it had a turbo drain already welded in it, and it just, you know, they wasn't going to take it back anyways, or maybe they would, I don't know, but nonetheless. So I took that opportunity to leave a review on the product like a lot of people do. And you know, I was looking for some information on the pan, and I couldn't remember if it was 7 quarts or 8 quarts or whatever. So I went back to look at the description of the pan so I could see how many quarts of oil it was supposed to hold. Right. So I go back and I look at this information, and I'm like, I'm gonna look at the reviews and see if anything's changed. Yeah, it's changed, all right. They deleted my review, the bad review. They don't want you to see that this product got a bad review. Even though there's another bad review with exactly the same problem, the pan leaking oil out of a welded seam. It's still there. I'll throw a link in the description below. You can check it out for yourself. It's really, really poor business practice, Summit. If you're watching this, that's not a good idea. Now, let's get on to business. Okay, so having Summit in my backyard is really convenient, right? I mean, it's an hour drive each way for me, but that's not a big deal. I get my hot rod parts today, right? That's what we all want. So this past week that I didn't do any video, I've been on Bob doing this work every day, several hours a night, and we are really close to dyno time. So I'm going to turn it around, show you what we got done, and then we'll talk about it some more. So Bob's remote mount water pump is done, and as you can see, I'm doing the hoses right now. Radiator, of course, is done. I think you can see that's the pickup coolant line right there, and then the water comes out of this hose goes into this side of this water pump manifold right here, and then it's kind of hard to see, but there is a temp sensor right there. Now we got to take that thing out, and we're going to change it up a little bit. So what we're going to do is I've custom machined a little fitting. I could have made this up with 3 different fittings, maybe 4 fittings to do what I wanted to do. But this, let me set the camera down so you can see what I got here. Okay, so this little guy, this fitting just started out as one of these, and this is threaded now on the inside. So this guy was going to get screwed in like that. We don't need to do that now. I'm sorry. You know what? I just realized I screwed that up. I'm going to show you what I'm supposed to be doing here that I didn't do. I guess I need to turn that around. Yeah, well, yeah, it's a little screwed up. Anyways, this fitting gets welded on there like that. There's supposed to be, I'm gonna have to change it up actually. I'm gonna weld it on this side like that. That's threaded, so we're gonna put a closed pipe nipple in there, and then we're gonna put that temperature sensor in right there and just call that good right now. So that way it's as short as possible, doesn't take up a whole lot of room and all that jazz. And I can't believe I messed that up. I guess get ahead of myself. Okay, so now that we got that part covered, let's talk about some of Bob's upgrades from last season that are really going to take him to the next level. So one of the things that we've done, and I've mentioned it in a few videos, you can see that he has wiring now for 16 injectors. This has got Holley's low ram on it, so it's got 2 different fuel rails that are actually 1. There's 8 injectors back here. There's 8 injectors up there. So I've been going back and forth, and I really didn't want to run methanol. No particular reason other than I don't like the maintenance, I guess. But we got that stuff covered. But anyways, let me show you the cool stuff. One of the things that I got for Bob is going to be, it's going to do a couple of different things. One is going to be wheelie control. Another is going to be automatic parachute deployment if Bob gets out of shape. And what that is this, the Davis VPS, the vehicle position sensor. So it can detect the pitch or wheels in the air, the roll or the car from tilting side to side, and then the yaw when the car is getting sideways like this. So the way we set it up, or what we intend on doing, is using it to tell how high the front end is. And if it gets higher than we have told it we don't like, then we're going to start taking timing out of it and get the front wheels on the ground without letting off the gas. As far as the yaw is concerned, used for parachute deployment, if the car gets more than a couple of degrees out of shape one way or the other, then it's going to send the signal to the air solenoid that's on the parachute handle that will kick the parachute out. And that doodad is right here. So the next thing that we have is even more cool, or just as cool. All right, so the next piece of cool hardware we got for Bob is this little jewel right here. This is a PMU made by a company called ECU Masters. They are local to me. They are very close. They have a very good name in this particular field. And the PMU is a power management unit. So it's going to take the place of all the relays, all the fuses, and the switch panel that's in Bob right now. And what it does, so let me show you this little dude. This is the switch panel for it. It's very small. You can see it does not have any labels in the buttons yet. They're LED backlit. I think they do 2 or 3 colors. I'm not sure which. So what I can do, what this thing does is pretty cool. It actually does quite a few things. So one example that I like to use is I have the water pump and the fan automatically controlled by Holley. So when Holley says turn the fan on, it turns the fan on. The only problem is when the car is off, the fan can't turn on. And that really isn't much of a problem for like say a street car or something, right? But sometimes you're in the staging lanes, you're in the pits, and you want to cycle the water, or you want to cycle the fan or whatever, and you can't really do it without turning the ignition on and turning everything else on. In this case, I can send the outputs from Holley through the PMU, and it is programmable, so you can tell it whenever it sees the signal, turn the water pump on, or in my case, if the car is off, I can still turn the water pump on without turning the car on. So technology in race cars is getting to be amazing. It's next level. I mean, crazy stuff going on right now. In my opinion, I think I think it's pretty obvious that's why some of these SBE cars are really starting to fly, because people are learning how to use the technology. Same for the Pro Mods and the RVW cars and all that. They are flying because they're learning this stuff. Anyways, enough of that jazz. So we got some more stuff that is, where is this thing? Let's look. I forgot about this. We got this dude too. That is a shock travel sensor for the rear of Bob. So we can use the VPS to determine the front travel of Bob. Then we can use the the shock sensors to measure the rear travel of Bob. Last but not least, what we got going on now is some new sensors. Some of these particular sensors on Bob are made in Chinesium, or made from Chinesium, or made in China. And I haven't had any problems with them. I got to say that first. Mine have worked fine. But in Holley, if you want to hinge some safeties in Holley off of those sensors, you can't really trust them fully. And they'll quit at the most inopportune time. So for example, if you lose fuel pressure, you want to shut the motor off, or you're losing fuel pressure, you want to shut the motor off. If you lose oil pressure, you sure want to cut the motor off. But you don't want to cut it off if it's okay. So you can't trust cheap sensors. So what we have done is I got a few new sensors from Low Dollar Motorsports. They have a pretty good name in the data logging / race car / data acquisition areas. So we've got some new stuff right there. And that's it. I mean, I've been really trying to get Bob ready to go. Thanksgiving coming up this week. You're probably going to see this video on Monday. So the plan is to get the injectors the rest of the way wired up, get the second fuel pump on, swap the sensors out, and get Bob ready to go to the dyno. Dyno time the week after Thanksgiving. Then we're going to put the PMU in Bob, and we're going to put the new parachute setup in Bob, and we're going to put the VPS in Bob. That will probably take the next couple of weeks in December, and hopefully be ready to race by, I'm going to say Christmas time, but in reality, there's probably not going to be a whole lot going on at the tracks in late December. So we're going to say the beginning of the year. So a month away, Bob will be ready to rock. Man, that's a lot of talking in one video. All right, guys, so my apologies. Not a lot of action in this video, but we definitely have got a lot done on Bob in preparation for dyno time. And like I said, I plan on racing at the beginning of the new year. It'll probably be ready before then, but we're not going to be, with the holidays coming up, there's not going to be a lot going on at the track. So anyways, thanks everybody for stopping by. I didn't get anything out last week, but I'm going to try to get back on it, and we will see how everything goes. If I don't get a video out by then, and I probably won't, make sure you guys have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you soon. Thanks.